Hello. I've been meaning to catch up with you for a while now. I did not intend to take a break, but during these last weeks, a lot's been happening, and I think I'll eventually catch up. So here's an update. I'm showing up, and that's a great first step for me because the longer it has been on without me planning a video, the more I felt the pressure to have some grand vlog or some big fun video come next. But the truth is I'm just juggling a lot at the same time, still figuring out it's really early morning. I have a kind of like a puffy face, but I just really finally felt excited to get down and film this video. In June, that month just flew by because that was when I launched Patreon. I was still getting used to it. It felt very chaotic. And we went on this one-day little trip. Mom, Tyler, and I drove to Big Sur. The noodles. 看一下，看一下。谢谢外婆。
对呀。
然后他说，最后给你一次机会。我说好吧，50个。他说不对，我有98个。
Wow.
She actually counts every single big and small tomato. There's total 98.
Yeah, she told me that yesterday.
I thought it's only the one by the door.
I got myself into a little situation, and I can't, I can't seem to get away from it. Ooh, I got to break free from all this bad luck that's been following me. And it's time to move on. It's just a little too long now. Yeah. All right now. 1, 2, yeah. Nothing gonna keep me down because I'm breaking free now. And I can't stop from moving. Gotta get back into it.
1 second. Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh so hard. I cannot even 这么说吗？没办法。
Now I spread my wings to fly. It's time to move on. It's just a little too long.
So that was kind of like the only outing or only break in June where it wasn't just me doing work. And then in July, the first thing I can remember is the 4th of July, we had a little bit of a backyard barbecue. 你是故意穿这个红裤子吗？
因为我那个红裤子现在可以穿进去了。你看这里好久，凡是这里这种我都不能穿了。但是我觉得它这个颜色好看，所以我没有把它。我还要再去剪一个花，我觉得剪什么颜色的？这只有2朵。I want to get another one. Pretty. 回家了，这么热，你穿个大棉袄嘞，你还出来晒？你看，你又不能脱衣服。
Pictures to my mom for 4th of July.
Wow, this is our first time barbecue at noon time.
Yeah.
And it was really hot. Tyler's neck got sunburnt after a while. So my dad stayed in his room. We would just bring him trays. So it was like room service because every time he would finish a plate, I would bring him the next plate because when you put things on the grill, you can't wait for it all to be done. It'll be cold. So we were just rotating. I almost left out that the weekend before, we actually had a quick outing. We drove a couple hours north to a lavender farm that my mom found online and you can purchase tickets for. And it's very significant to her because it's her favorite flower, favorite scent. And when we visited France a couple years ago, we missed the prime season, so it was all harvested for the most part, and she was so devastated. So today it was everybody's first time witnessing lavender in full bloom in this quantity, and it was beautiful. And you have to get out before the hour is up because only a few groups can enter at a time right now. So while we were there, it was so peaceful. Hi, Paul. We're the only people here right now.
It's good.
Okay.
This farm is quite hidden, kind of just tucked away, and we've never heard of it. There are tons of bees everywhere, but I don't mind. A week later, we had to go fly to Rhode Island and pack, and that was it was a really tiring thing. After that, we had 2 days before the flight. For the longest time, I thought that my lease ended on this date, and then turns out I remembered wrong. It was actually 1 day earlier, and that freed up a day. We drove to Point Judith in Rhode Island and took a ferry to visit Block Island, which is this place. When I first got into RISD, I was Googling all of these must-see places, you know, Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard. Especially when I was by myself and I didn't really know anyone freshman year, I took little trips, and I still want to take solo trips. It's very fun. But I remember reading about Block Island, and it's an easy name to remember, so I'm like, oh, maybe for winter I can just go there by myself and take a stroll on the snowy coast or something. And then nothing happened, you know, 4 years went by and I'm leaving. I said, hey, let's just check that off my list. Basically, let's go see it. I didn't plan to, but I kind of vlogged the whole thing. No, not the whole thing. Put it into a little moving album, which is basically a more casual version. I just ended up putting on my Patreon so less people would see it and I wouldn't feel as much pressure, I guess, to make it entertaining, and it would just be what it is. The highlights are definitely how clear it was because it was a weekday, so really nobody was at the beach after was like 3 p.m. and Tyler and I threw around this beach frisbee that we sucked at. But it was nice to get some breeze under the sun, kind of like the summer activity that I'm doing. That was a great afternoon. It kind of felt like a dream because it was so removed from my life, and you wake up and like, did that actually happen? Tyler was so nice and helped my sister rent a moped because we did like the 3-hour early bird discount thing. So after Block Island coming back, right. But actually, wait, before I forget to mention, although the island was so beautiful to explore, hands down, the highlight had to have been when we visited this private farm that's open to the public with no entrance fee, no hours. It's like a sanctuary for these animals that are grazing out in the open. And the coolest moment of my life happened with these alpaca. Back into my job, I realized how overwhelming Patreon was getting because I created a lot of things where I would be editing all the time, where I would be doing like computer related things all the time. And the live streaming, I didn't enjoy so much because no matter what I can do right now, I always have technical difficulties, so it feels really anxious to have to worry about my camera dying or the the video going out or the audio going out or something weird. I realized that things take way longer than I want when I get interested in something. Like a whole day will fly by and I only accomplished this one thing. When I was in school and juggling YouTube, it was like a mad rush and I could do a bunch of things at the same time. So logically, I thought once I graduate and I don't have classes anymore, I have even more time and I can do like 5 times the amount of things I used to do. But I guess not, especially living at home. There are inevitably distractions or just I want to spend time with my family. And also I recently picked up a part-time job that I'll explain as well. So my workflow is kind of messy and I get why, and hopefully once I settle down into my next space physically it'll be more organized. And timeline wise, to just be alone, I'll be sad because I'll be lonely without my family and stuff. However, that will kind of like force me to focus more on work. The thing about Patreon though, after doing all of the deliverables, I was missing the time that I wanted to create my own work. I don't know if I should go as far as to say fine art, but just illustrations and paintings that I've been meaning to get to that I couldn't do during school because we had to do art for assignments. So I got a little taste of that because I had to make sketchbook posts on Patreon and I really enjoyed that. So moving forward, my plan is to make more time to invest in that part of me because that's a long-term goal. I'm still realizing what I like and what I don't like about it. So I changed my Patreon tiers. That's going to be official by the end of this month. Actually, I'm deleting my $3 tier and the $1 tier. So now I'm having $2 be the cheapest one, but pushing a bunch of stuff at the lowest, which will contain the podcast. Any videos I do, instead of making art tutorials every month, those videos will occasionally have tutorials, and it would kind of be based around the schedule that hopefully arises from me making more studio work. The sketchbook tours I'm taking down from the $10 into the $6. The $6 tier will still have the music videos, like the playlist that I curate, and then the $10 now, the focus is I will update my creative processes. The expensive tiers beyond that will have benefits, but the more focus is just what a patron is. If you want to support me and you wish to because you like me, you like my work, then that would be the available tier, and the best things hopefully are more accessible. In terms of that, I'm about to film podcasts later this week. My sister's leaving in a day, so I'm gonna spend time with her before she goes and find time in that somewhere to edit this. And speaking of editing, this computer is my sister's old monitor. Tyler hooked up his old out-of-use computer for me and tried to make this Hackintosh because I was complaining that one of the reasons why it's hard for me to accomplish videos and it's definitely not as efficient is because my little laptop can't process all of the complicated things I'm doing. I have to plug in 2 hard drives to supplement and use that disk space, and it will crash at times, and it's just very scary I feel like I'm walking a line every time I'm making something. My workflow will be better if I'm more equipped to handle editing, and I see so many YouTubers have iMovie or something on their Mac and they have 8 projects going on at once. I'm like, oh, you can do that? I am saving up for a computer now because it generally works very well like a Mac, just not for my Final Cut. I haven't experienced trying to run Photoshop or anything like that because I'm logged into mine, so this is synced up with my little laptop, but it just won't run. It just freezes with that little circle. Tyler has tried to reboot it for me, but the time that he invests in trying to do that and taking away from his own work is not worth it in my opinion. I'll try saving up for a computer so I can do it properly, and it would just be another investment that I do consider a part of a business expense. So that's the reality of what I have to do, and I will earn that. This computer still works really well. It's great to have 2 monitors, which I've never experienced, and it helps because I'm working remotely now. I picked up a part-time job at a dental office I used to work at. It was my first job when I was 15 and a half or 16, and I was there for almost 2 years-ish. I used to do more of insurance things, and it was actually very nerve-wracking to deal with claims and stuff like that. But now currently what I'm doing is more talking to patients, handling money, reviewing their accounts, prepping the schedule, I knew inevitably that picking up another side job would divide my attention even further into all of the things that I said I need more time on. I could really use that stable income. I only work 2 full days a week, but to have that and be paid above minimum wage is really helpful. So I feel less pressure to, for example, earn off of my YouTube because I want to be more creative in that. After a good few years doing the YouTuber thing, a lot of consistent content, working with sponsorships, I feel like maybe the end goal is not what I really want to do, and I'd rather be more creative and just more inconsistent if that's what it takes. So that's why I'm doing a bunch of different things, trying things and figuring it out. And it's only been a month since I've been back at work, but at least what's nice is that they didn't have to train me that much because I remember a lot of stuff from 4 years ago and just how it worked, and there are a couple familiar faces, which is great, and I really like the new coworkers. I definitely wouldn't have seeked out the job position if it weren't for the office owner asking me if I could help out, but I feel like it's actually good for me to experience having a little bit of a job where I can talk to some people. You know, we have the conferences twice a day on video, and we have a meeting, and we're just talking about dentistry, and maybe it's quarantine speaking, but it feels nice to put on pants sometimes and go out to the office because I had to go in for training. Most of the time I'm at home, but I do go in like once or twice a month, so it feels nice to wear black. You know, I never wear black, but you have to for the office, and have on my mask, of course, and my shoes, socks, pants, yes. And I just wonder what would they think, or what would it be like if I still had my colored hair, because weirdly I've cycled back and this is kind of the hairstyle I had right in the summer before I started RISD. People ask me what are my hair plans. I get a lot of questions like that. I don't think I'm gonna dye it anytime soon because the salons are closed and very backed up. I doubt I can get an appointment. I'm really scared to bleach it myself, and I'm growing out the bangs just because I'm like, oh, I'm trying something new, you know, it's been 3 years. It doesn't want to stay in this part. I have these little clips I'm making, and if it's a middle part, I like to clip it 2 like this, but then a side part I can clip it just 1 or have 2 on one side, and I like that asymmetry. One thing that, oh my gosh, one thing about my work though, the dental office, one of the morning meetings, we were on video call, and he's asking me which email are you using so that when I need you to communicate with the patient, I'm going to call you, let me know. And I was saying, oh, I'm like using this email. And then he's like, can you copy and paste that to me? And is it because I've been experiencing keyboard dysfunctions? Have you ever had to like press something twice a couple of times, or caps lock, you have to press it a few times? I don't think much of it. It's kind of ordinary for that to happen. I don't care. But this morning was when I created that Block Island moving album thing, okay? And I used this unlisted link to put onto Patreon. The doctor asked me to copy paste my email, and I thought I did. I clicked Command C, but I didn't click. So when I clicked Command V without thinking, just very quickly into the freaking entire office chat, I sent a link to that unlisted video. So as soon as I saw that link, because I pressed send just so fast, I was like, huh? And the YouTube link, after a couple of seconds, it expanded into the thumbnail and all the description into the chat. And the doctor was on video chat like, 2 days on Block Island. At least they know that I make videos, and at least they know I do YouTube. And what's even more embarrassing was that maybe 20 minutes before that, I was doing a chat with just the girls up front that I told them, hey, when I'm remote, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of the whole office. And I sent this big ass like rainbow with a happy face emoji thing. This is how I feel about not having to embarrass myself on the entire office chat. Yay. After that meeting, I went back to the chat and I sent this turtle, a headless turtle. So much for not embarrassing myself. It could be worse. Like, I could have sent, everyone's telling me, you could have sent a porn link. I'm like, yeah, totally. That's just obviously, they're just like saying that to make me feel better or something. But what would be more embarrassing realistically for me to send? Probably like a different talking video if it wasn't Block Island. That moving album was just like this couple minutes, right? And it wasn't as much about me. I really doubt anyone watched it. Right after the chat, I was just sending all these periods into the chat so that I can move up and I didn't have to see it anymore because I'm like, oh. At least it wasn't like a video to this in which I would be talking about the office and they would possibly see it. In other news, my mom and I have been workout buddies for over a month now because for the longest time she's been saying I want to get fit, or she's upset because she doesn't feel healthy. She's very sedentary because of her job and she tries to stand at work. One of the most important things is just having the routine, and one of the best ways to stick to your routine is having people to keep you honest. So I kind of walked up to her one day and I said, hey, I'm gonna be your physical trainer. Like, I'm not professional, I don't know much. I myself have been working out seriously for like 3 years now, so that's at least opened me up to what it is to take care of yourself in that way, because I didn't believe that I could ever, and I just thought, it's not for me, I could never do it. And she would always tell me, well, you don't understand me as much because you're half my age and my metabolism's slowing down, I can't move like I used to, so it's this, and it doesn't help when you try to compare your mom or someone to someone similar to her age, like, oh, she can do it, because comparing yourself isn't the best motivation sometimes. I would take this notebook and write down these little exercises and started very simple the first day. What was actually more important than her burning calories or running X amount of miles or something, what was more important is that we did it every day for 6 days in a row, and then we had one rest day, and then we would do it for 6 days in a row. Workout can be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I find it difficult to stick to a workout routine myself. There was a time where I got really fit. At my fittest, I remember like being able to lift things or not feel as exhausted after doing certain tasks. That was what kind of, that's like the high that I want. Just being able to lift up my luggage in a plane or something. Now it's really scary. I want to improve my arm strength. Those are a lot of personal goals that maybe I can go into in like a fitness video. It's so easy to lose motivation because I don't need to apply my strength to do a lot of things, and no one's seeing me. I'm not even looking at me half the time, so who even cares what I look like? Working out, moving my body is really, really, really crucial to my mental health. It gives me the dopamine, I think it's dopamine, serotonin? It gives it to me. It gives me what I need. I know that it's a common excuse of mine to say, oh, I don't have time, I'll do this if I have time. When I was the busiest in school, the absolute busiest, that it was when I worked out the most. I would make time right before class, on a break, or right after class. It would give me the boost that I need mentally. I've been feeling all sorts of things recently living at home. I'm not saying that I'm like excelling and I'm at my best. I certainly have a lot of highs and lows. I can't even imagine what my state would be like if I weren't upkeeping this routine. So I'm very grateful that my mom is willing to continue, that she and Tyler are like my workout partners, because every morning we kind of count on each other to show up. The cool thing though is that my mom has been eating so much healthier. I can't eat a lot of things she's having because I don't like avocado. I also don't eat meat and seafood. I need to work on my diet a little bit because I'm trying to be plant-based and I haven't been getting as much protein from direct sources as I want. Like too much processed things, too much like substitute meat, too much tofu. I want to eat more lentils and chickpeas and legumes and things like that. In school, I would go to the cafeteria and they would have fresh stuff there and I didn't have to prepare it or, put things back in jars. So my eating habits have leaned more towards microwave corn dog, and I'm not okay with that. But my mom has been eating so well, and by the time it was her birthday last week, I can see that she's in a good place, and I'm very happy for her. We went down to, I want to say it was a little bit south of Monterey, where there's this little area called the 17-mile drive. So it's 17 miles of scenic routes. They have little destinations marked, whether it's like the cypress trees or looking at different coasts or rocks with birds and seals. Coming back though, we surprised her with a garden party because I really feel sad when my dad can't leave the house with us and have any outings, but it was important for me to have this little celebration for my mom and have him be a part of that, and we're all present. He made it outside to the courtyard, new and improved courtyard, because my mom bought this awning for it. It's so much more livable because it's not under the sun and rain and the umbrellas will stop breaking. So we surprised her and my grandma funded all the little desserts because that was her gift to my mom. It was so hot. It's been really, really, really hot this last week and it was like 95 by the time we were ready in the morning to party. And we basically took photos and then we migrated just into the next room and had the tea because I prepared some blooming special tea. So it was a long time coming and we planned it and I didn't want to cancel it because the weather didn't permit. Happy birthday, dear Mom. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Get her done.
I really hope that my mom had an unforgettable birthday. Tyler was able to be there, but he's actually not home right now. The following Monday, he flew to Florida where his parents live and he's home with his family right now. It feels weird because as he was saying goodbye, it's like he was leaving his home. Like he's been here for almost a year now and my grandma was so sad. But it's almost like what? He's going back to his family or his parents, but like he's so much a part of our family here. I am not allowing myself to be sad about that. Of course it's difficult to say goodbye, but I know that it's important and a great thing that he is there with his parents and can be helping out. Because last month while we were moving, it was during that week, his mom suffered from a terrible fall and broke a bone. At first she didn't know if it was just bruised or fractured, but she went to the hospital and then ended up being in this rehabilitation center for many weeks and it wasn't going well. The recovery wasn't going smoothly or as hoped or as planned and she really could use Tyler's help because Tyler's dad has to work full time and he's so stressed out and sleep deprived too. Tyler is just so great at working with his mom because I don't know if everybody's seen the Florida vlog. I've never explicitly was like talking about his mom because I was just there to have fun and to vlog, and I also felt like I don't want to tell someone else's story, but I did approach her and ask, are you comfortable with me talking about your health conditions? She's paralyzed on her left side, and it was from the result of a surgery the first time she got cancer. Growing up, he helped his mom a lot, or he understood her condition and her needs. So especially in this time of recovery, it seems like he's jotted down all of these regimens that they're going to do. I miss Tyler a lot, but kind of feels like what I had to do when I was at school. Bambi has been a trooper though. Like, oh, I love you, Bambi, because when Tyler and I are sharing the room, Bambi doesn't want to hang out with us. He's either in the basement or the apartment. This is what I call the under my bed I call the basement, and in the closet is his apartment, and he never sleeps with us. Now that Tyler's been gone, Bambi is like, where is he? You're all I have. Annabelle, you feed me. You follow me around. Or last night, I wish I filmed this. I was going to bed. It was kind of late. Well, late for me. It was like midnight. I called out to Bambi and I heard him muttering and squeaking as he runs up the stairs. He came into the doorway and looked at me and I was like, Bambi. And then he spoke. I know I'm going on like a crazy cat person, but he spoke and then he jumped onto the bed and I patted right here and he started licking his private area. It's not very private though. It's out in the open all the time. I was having a hard time sleeping. One of those times where you're so exhausted, too exhausted that you can't sleep. So I flipped over and I was like, Bambi. And he literally stopped licking himself. He got up and he just laid on top of me. I was like, emotional support. So that's that. And last night I gave my dad a haircut. He is doing okay, better than I feared. He started radiation. That's basically the treatment they went for because he cannot handle chemo anymore. I'm just really glad that he's not suffering from nausea. This weird thing happened the other day on my mom's birthday. After we ate cake and he was checking the mail, he started laughing, saying the hospital is selling our information. Basically, it was like, for the last 40 years that we've been in business in this area, we have been the most renowned and trustworthy and reliable crematorium, and we hope that you may consider our services. So it gave us all a good laugh. Dark matters, you know. Ironically, I want to burn that letter and cremate letter from the crematory. And he has been able to join us for movie nights a couple of times. We watched Despicable Me for the first time, and then also Casablanca for the first time for me. Thank you though for checking in and caring. He really appreciates that. He tells me that, and he like wanted me to post like the comment of him just saying thank you for supporting this channel. That's all my updates right now. Wrapping it up. I'm doing okay. Definitely stressed if I feel behind, and I'm going through a lot of highs and lows because I don't know if it's mild depression or something, because I really can't put my finger on it. I hope to return to therapy. Throughout the day, I would suddenly feel up to do something, and then like 20 minutes later, it would be really difficult for me. So this is actually my 7th time filming this video just to update you, because yesterday I tried to do it and I kept trying to force myself to film this, and it didn't work out. I'm very high functioning, so especially if I'm anxious or something, that's not necessarily a good thing because it can lead to a lot of avoidance and denial. So in this last few weeks that I haven't been vlogging or anything, I'm spending a lot more time with myself. It's given me clarity on some things I want to work on, which is great, and things will feel less chaotic when I have a familiar routine. That's that! Huge update. Thank you for listening, and moving forward, I will continue to work hard and apply myself. Thank you so much for being here and making me a part of your day. I hope to see you soon. Goodbye!